Recorded January 27th, 2025. Good afternoon, Brody. Good afternoon, Rodney. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Wonderful is a feeling.
It is. Brody, I really liked how you extended your dance even after the music. That was pretty good.
Yeah, man. Well, the bandwidth. He's just hearing the end of the music. He stopped playing a while
I think it made our audience, they were probably wondering if maybe their speakers stopped working. Brody's still dancing. There's no music.
There's always something playing in my head, whether I like it or not.
That's the fact. That's a fact. Yep. Other than that, man, how's everybody doing?
Well, Brody is live from the Rocky Mountains. That's pretty awesome. At least that's his tagline. Is that true? Is your tagline true, Brody?
It is. I am in the Rocky Mountains as we speak, working remote.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Are you in a
Andrew, I
cabin?
might go skiing. We've had no snow here, Andrew. Unfortunately, we need more snow. Snow has been terrible. Please bring the snow. We need snow.
Okay.
No. That's super sad. So which part of the Rocky Mountains are you in, by the way? Because
which part of the rock? I'm near Columbia.
You know, I'm not gonna map it with Google or anything. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in the southeastern quadrant of the Rocky Mountains.
Oh my goodness! If I had to rescue you from a cliff in the Rocky Mountains, how would you tell me?
Are you going to swat me if I tell you my location? Is that what's going on here? Okay.
No. I'm super interested. I love the Rocky Mountains.
That's great. We love it too. The sovereign nation of Canada loves its Rocky Mountains.
Sovereign nation of Canada, not for long.
You have a lot of Saint Bernards running around with like little kegs of beer. Yeah.
Medicine, beer. Yeah. Anything you need. Legal weed.
Yeah. Saint Bernard. Okay. I like that.
That's how we get most things delivered around here because the snow is up to, normally it's above the house, right? So you need dog teams to carry critical supplies to people's houses, and that's how we do it.
I think we talked about that before because your mail, just literally stops running whenever it wants to.
It's true.
And then when they feel frustrated, they just take your mail and smash it up and put it back in the box and give it to you.
That's why you really don't want us as the 51st state because it's just there's so much going on up here. I don't think you guys can handle it. So just go ahead and divert your attention somewhere else. That'd be great.
I'm thinking maybe not the 51st, but I have a few states we could trade you for if you're up.
I got a couple we'll sell to you on the cheap. Come.
I will take American Capital right now with the exchange rate. Yeah, absolutely. Please send us your dollars. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, Brody, what have you been working on interesting in your day job?
Oh, the great Azure policy. Wow. In-depth. Enterprise policy as code, Azure policy, compliance, infrastructure as code, just all kinds of fun stuff. Landing zone design, management group design. What else? Yes.
So on that note, I'd like to ask you a question maybe in the show. Maybe you do a show about Azure policy. So let me ask you a quick note, though.
Please.
Can Azure policy be used to ship logs from Azure Monitor to another tenant? It's not a trick question. I don't know the answer. I got a customer who says, well, I want to use Lighthouse and Azure policy, and I want to be able to forward this between here and here. I'm like, Lighthouse is not that. It's not for transaction log shipping or log.
Azure policy would be more like, I want to collect logs from this thing and enforce the action of collecting the logs, and then you can put those logs wherever you want. I don't think you would ship them with Azure policy.
You have to use a Logic app to do that. So Azure policy can say, hey, use this Logic app if this condition is met.
And we'll talk about it when we have a Just Us show. We'll come in with conundrums that customers bring us, right? Because I'm like, why? The answer is yes, you can. Certain logs, not all logs. The closer the log is to a biological entity, the harder it is for that log to be shipped. Meaning, if it's a log that corresponds to user activity, using login and stuff, that's real quirky trying to do that, right? Then the customer wants to try to extend out the logging, the logging vector by saying, well, we'll use Lighthouse to ship logs from one tenant to another. Lighthouse was not intended for that. It's a management and administrative overlay to be able to allow access to resources, not to see and allow access. And now you create a log a log shipping, vehicle or mechanism. Don't do that. That's what multi-tenancy is, right? Just go ahead and create another Sentinel instance. Well, I'll talk about it in a minute, but I want to maybe you do something on that. And I'm gonna tell you what my brain is going with that too. And this may be the first blog of the many I promised to write that I've never written, but I got to do it now because I opened my big fat mouth. I'll let you finish. You said doing lots of Azure policy.
Yes, I would love to pick into that question at a deeper detail to understand what you truly mean by using Azure policies to ship logs by Lighthouse. But okay, but we'll just park that. Anyway, that's consumed my entire day today, and other things. Oh, it's not out yet, but I was a guest on the Blue Security podcast, which is hosted by some fine folks who work at Microsoft. Andy and oh shoot, what's his other name? Oh, he's gonna hate me. Andy Jaw, another individual whose name I temporarily forgot, and I will find that. So once that goes out, and I totally gave shout out to the Microsoft Security Insights community show experience, I will make a post. But Andy's also going to come on our show, and we're going to cross promote. It was a great time. They are very, especially Andy. He is very audio visual. Nitpicky like I am, and so we were like picking apart all the little nuances of like the audio and video in their setup and how they do post edit. Adam, thank you, Henrik, Andy, and Adam. That's right. And anyway, they have a really great show there, and I learned a lot about the equipment they're using and whatnot. It was a good time. It was a good time. We talked for like over an hour. They're going to do some editing. It's going to be out sometime. I don't know. So that was fun. It was a good time.
Andy's on February 3rd, by the way.
Feb 3rd, Andy Jaw. Don't miss it.
Yeah, I was about to book over your guy because I had two people that wanted to come on that date, and I was like, "Oh, I can't
do it. Snooze, you lose."
I had to go use the calendar and like, oh my god, we're getting booked up. Remember, we were so thin at the beginning of the year. Now we're getting filled up.
We're not want to be a part of what we got.
Yeah, that's the way it always seems to happen. I'd start to get a little scared. I'm like, man,
we got no guests. Now we booked through March, right? And now we're going to start dipping into April. So I got to get Sean on and Salvador from Portugal on the show. I figured that out. The guy you introduced me to. So I got to get that figured out. And a couple of people from Microsoft are trying to say, hey man, when am I going to get on the show? I'm like, I don't know. Well, got to figure it out. You know what? We should have user submissions. Like when we have to submit abstracts to go speak at these engagements, maybe we just create a place to say, submit your idea to be a guest on the show. And that people have to submit to get on rather than us, I guess, soliciting or recruiting. Because like I said, the floodgates have opened now. People are like, hey, we need to be on the show.
I like that idea. That's a good idea. Speaking of that, have you gotten back about the Midwest Management Summit, Rod? Has anyone gotten back?
I have not.
Yet? Or Edward? Okay.
I have, but I'm a primary speaker for one of the sessions. So I'll ask. I need to actually reach out to them about something else. So yeah, I'll ask about you two as well, because I know you submitted.
Yeah, we're supposed to be on there. Yeah, I want to make sure I can go ahead and book that and not have it on my thing. I've already booked the night that I get this year. I'll be there.
Like the first week of May, right? Isn't that the first week of May?
Oh, yeah, that's still good. I'm doing a security co-pilot. We'll talk about it on the show. I'm doing a huge thing called Flight Simulator. You know about it, Rod.
Yeah.
You're right. I can say it on the show. I hope I can. Yeah. Too late now. Too late now. So I guess I can advertise. You'll see something coming out. We'll be leading some sessions where we're going to have select, we'll only say select customers come in, and we're going to give them Security Copilot labs. You'll be able to come in and lab Security Copilot. It's called Flight Simulator. I'll get the public facing stuff and we'll get it for the show notes. But yeah, I got to lead that today. It's interesting. Similar to what I did when I was in Copenhagen last year when I came over. We did a similar of it. So we rewrote it.
That would be cool. I would. Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea.
If I had the funding, I'd come over and get permission to deliver to independent experts in Denmark. It's fully curated, and I have the ability to create multiple accounts inside the test environment now. I finally got those rights. Maybe
Yep. I think we use the same. account. I have a Power BI, a a Power App that I use to generate multiple accounts for that Security Copilot workshop group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I figured out to do. I can create all these accounts. So Brody, thank you for much agreeing to lead one of Just Us sessions around Azure policy. I'll go next.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Rob. So,
Oh, good.
I love giving back. I am a finalist to sit on this board. Coming up, I have a final interview. It is a nonprofit that looks to provide training in STEM, primarily around information technology for underprivileged kids here in Atlanta. They're opening up the Atlanta branch here, so got to put the suit on and go out there and show why I'm a community man and give back to the kids and stuff like that. That's good for just giving back to our youth. That's going to be the next generation of technologists that are coming up, right? So lucky. They're born into it, right? They'll never know what a 5 1/4 or 3.5 floppy disk is unless they go to a museum. They won't see it, right? I don't know they can do it. I would pay money to get a computer to make one that had it in there. And maybe I find me a slot and put one inside my computer just for old time's sake. So I got that going. The other thing that I am doing, and I started writing, and I'm going to put together a training session. How would you like to understand how to use Microsoft Fabric with Sentinel? So I am now inside Microsoft Fabric with a Sentinel overlay for the way that the data is being presented, not necessarily from a logging perspective, but being able to represent how the logs have manifested them in tables in a business aspect. So imagine I'm going to take all those logs and everything, and I'm going to project them out via Power BI. And I'm going to make the Power BI real time. As things change, and you'll see it change. So I jumped in that course, and I think I had hair when I started. I pulled it all out trying to understand but it's brilliant because they have an inherent KQL database structure inside Fabric. Really cool KQL databases. So I'm still learning. I'm writing the skeleton of the paper. Beth is going to help me on it. Shout out, Beth. She and I are going to have this developed. So we're writing that. And I'm also going to write a functional architecture possibility paper on different log shipping techniques. And Brody volunteered to take over the Azure policy piece of it. So he's going
Yeah.
Asking a question gets you volunteered. I haven't been on the show in a minute. It seems like forever, but all the listeners, how quiet my office is. Yes, all the switches where fans are going. All those noisy, Cisco 2960s and all that going. It's all Cisco Meraki. I got my last little bit of free from them, so I'm done with them. Like they ended their engineer and architect program that I was part of, so I would get all the stuff for free. If I go to something else, I'll probably go to Unify, Ubiquity next. But no noise, so quiet. Love it. I mean, what about broken? I got one link from our guest, Samal Yonis. He put out 3 excellent things, infographics on LinkedIn. I'll just grab one of these long URLs that you have to modify. If you're not following this gentleman and you need some eye candy to present to your less technical senior leadership board or team, he breaks it down. The dude has a way. And if you think his stuff is PowerPoint that he's using or something, it's a totally different graphic. It's something else.
Sammy was on the show like middle last year in summer, wasn't he?
Came on. Yeah, came on. Check his stuff out. If you try to copy it and convert it to PowerPoint, it won't work. So he's using a format I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, if you try to steal it, it's not going to work.
You're not stealing it. And it's not protection built into the document. It's the way the content of the document is formatted. He makes it hard if you're going to try to plagiarize his stuff. That's not going to happen. It may be 15 documents inside of a single document, the way he layers it out. And that's pretty cool. I like that. But
he does
check him out. If you need some eye candy to present, just give a quick, 1 to 200 level to the powers that be. That's the man. That's a business. We could put him to work doing that, right? I think we suggested doing it.
I think a lot of people have put him to work. I've seen more and more of his things just literally show up in a lot of our both internal and external stuff. So
Yeah, and he was highlighted as one of the top cybersecurity influencers in CIO magazine. So shout out to him. Yeah, man. Friend of the show. That's all that I got. One more thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to step on Ron's toes, but there is a pretty cool site that yours is obviously the best, Ron, but you know.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's called kqlquery.com.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
You know, I needed something really quick, and I did it, and it's actually not bad. Everybody think that you can use Copilot to write KQL queries. Be careful. They're not super optimized. They'll burn through your SCUs if you don't. And I had to sit back and help somebody write, and they thought it was optimization issue with a KQL query, but it was rejecting thousands of rows from firewall logs with parameters around access and deny. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? I think I sent it to you, right?
Yeah. And that's a really good one. You're probably familiar also with KQLsearch.com, which, right? So that searches through literally all the KQL that exists on any GitHub repository in the world. And it also has its own generative AI built into it too. So.
Yeah. So still must learn KQL is the standard. There you go.
Well, I mean, must learn KQL. You still need to learn KQL, even with all these.
And you need to learn Git. Rod, I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out multi-tenancy and multi-user account federation in GitHub. Now I get it.
I like that. That was a good pun. That was a good pun.
Now I get it. That's all I got, guys.
So we have some. We actually do have guests tonight. But before we turn the show over to our guests for some exciting announcements and to talk about what they're here to talk about, I've been working on, and people should be aware of this already, but please be aware of it now if you haven't heard about it before. There's a new generative AI tool or model called DeepSeek. You should have heard about this already. So I've been working on this all day today to try to determine gaps in security, how to get this into Defender cloud apps so that we can at least monitor. DeepSeek is a new generative AI model developed by a Chinese startup, of course, owned and maintained by, CCP. And it's of interest because, number one, we don't know anything about it from a security perspective. Number two, it appears, utilizing user data to train the model constantly, which you can't turn that off. And the other thing, it tanked the U.S. stock market today because of the information about it. They're not quite sure how they've done it and how they were able to catch up super quickly. But we all know that, some organizations like to copy other organizations. Who knows? We'll just have to see how this all kind of shakes out. But people should be aware that people are downloading these on Apple, Android, and there's a web version just like ChatGPT. So might want to make sure that you're monitoring it in your organization just to see who's using it. We don't know much about it yet, but we will. So
I would highly suggest to our listeners who I would assume are very technical in their acumen, be careful when you download apps. Uninstalling an app doesn't mean you got rid of it. It means you no longer have access to the data.
Yeah,
that's what delete means.
Well, the important thing here is that it comes from an official source. It comes from Google Play. It comes from the Apple Store. It's been officially submitted and accepted. So you would assume that it's not, you're not downloading it from some weird site, right? So
you can hide in plain sight. The plain sight is the end user agreement that's longer than I'm tall. Who reads it? In the very middle, it says, by agreeing to install that, you allow us to do whatever we want with any other apps on your phone and your data. Do you agree? Yeah, you were saying Google Play have people to read that and use AI to look at such things, but it's jargon.
It's like ignoring the messages on cigarette boxes.
Yeah, anything I test, I got a Google Pixel over here. It's not connected to anything but my wireless. No carrier info. It's a junk phone. Put it on there, man, and then there's a diagnostics software piece, you can just watch the interaction, what it does with other apps, right?
Yeah.
And so I like to just see, okay, I installed it, what did it? But yeah, I saw the thing. The claim of fame people are saying that they can do all this AI stuff much faster on a cheaper chipset that uses less power. If you got to dumb it down, that's all it is. Saying, hey, we can run this. It's like someone saying, oh, we can do quantum-like mechanics calculations on a machine that's not really a quantum computer. And
With
Ron,
a
you and
5.5
I are
inch,
into quantum computing, right? We
with a
invest in
5.5
it.
inch floppy disk. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, interesting read. It's actually one of my show notes, and I realized, everybody else is talking about it.
It's actually super important, I think. Just be aware of it.
It is important, but I'm like, everybody else talking about it. The one time it's important, Canada says something about it. Did Canada say anything about it, Brody? See, not important.
Yeah. All right. We do have guests because we have to get this show done. I'm packing for New York. I'm out of here shortly for the AI tour stuff this week. So, but after my trip to New York, my very next trip is to Experts Live in Denmark. And guess what? We have on the show this evening the organizers, the master organizer and his minions.
Minions.
Put it that way. For Experts Live Denmark, which is his second year, right? And it just recently sold out. I think Morten has some things that he wants to share about all that. And, I'll just turn it over to you, Morten. Tell us what you want to tell us.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to the show. And first of all, I want to say that this is not the entire group. You're actually just looking at basically half of it. So we are 6 people in the Danish group. As many of you know, Experts Live is a broad organization that is in, I think, 10 countries at the moment or in counting. I know more countries will be added, including the US. So we will do a conference later on this year. So we're very excited about that. So but going back to the Danish event, it will be our second event. We were very fortunate to have a sold-out event last year as well, and we thought about moving it this year. So we actually moving it to a huge IMAX cinema and rented the entire cinema and have 11 rooms. So it will be double the size, or that was actually how the numbers were once we sold out, but we might even, do it bigger. So we're thinking about expanding it at the moment, see how we can do that. And we have some ideas about how we can do that because we actually sold out already. This happened, just recently, I think like in 16 days when we picked up the pace after the holidays, and then we sold out after 16 days. So we're 553 people that has secured a ticket so far.
Yeah. And what was your numbers last year, by the way? What was the attendance?
285.
So you've doubled it this year and you're thinking about doubling it again next year. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we have some internal discussions going on right now because so what happened was that we actually started to put up a wait list Friday morning as we announced that we are sold out. And since Friday until today, over the weekend, we actually have 40 people now having requested tickets on our wait list. And if that is the pace for the next month, because there's more than a month until the event, then we figured how can we add more seats to the event, while still, having everything run smoothly and something like that. So we have some discussions going on right now how we can do that, and we hope to announce that very, very soon. Maybe mid the week this week here. We hope to announce that we can add more seats to the conference, and the number is pretty high, I would say.
Yeah, but that is outstanding. Martin. I'm so happy to hear. I'm disappointed. I was invited last year. Unfortunately, with work and budget, I couldn't attend. You bent over backwards to sort of get me over there, man. I got to get over there. It was a pleasure to come over to Denmark and meet you last year. I do have some ideas. You probably already have those on what the expansion is like. But let me ask you a question. I'm not, if I'm opening a can of worms or not. Is your event also simul virtual? I mean, you're doing it in person, but you also have a virtual aspect of it. Okay.
It's kind of one of the core thing of the Experts Live. It's in the name. It is live.
Right.
So we don't offer any virtual session. So I would say, and maybe half of, when people join a conference like Experts Live or Workplace Ninja or MMS MOA or MEM Summit or any of these great conferences around, there's nothing wrong with a hybrid event. A hybrid is here to stay, but let's be honest, it does not beat an in-person event. So for us, half of it is engaging with people, meeting friends. For our event last time, it was actually a lot of hugging. A lot of people knew each other, and it was really, really, really great. And we also see that a lot of companies are also bringing larger group to the event. So, for instance, the company that bought the most tickets, they bought 18 tickets for our event, and the numbers goes like 16, 15, 14, and so on. So we also see that a lot of companies, they actually make a company trip out of it, and maybe they come the day before, they go out, have some dinner, and they have a lot of great time during the event. And once they come home, they can talk about what they learned, and maybe some of them participated, and kind of the bonus that we want to throw into our event this time is that since we're in a huge IMAX theater, we have that the whole theater has, I think, 14 rooms, and it amounts to 1,800 people, but we have rented 11 of those rooms. And what we are doing after the event, which around maybe 5:30, is actually we're giving everyone a free ticket. We are showing 3 movies, and we haven't decided yet which one, but we can influence the movies ourselves. And we are taking care of all the popcorns, the soda, the candy, and everyone can join for free. And what we have seen is actually more than 50% of the people that sign up for the conference are actually also staying for the movie. So people, they really want this. That's kind of our conclusion to this.
Yeah, it's great. That is awesome. My question wasn't to say that it should be one. I am very much a person that believes in press to flesh. Shake hands, see people, give a hug. I'm a big hugger. I see you the first time I try, big old hug. Speaking of hugs, I haven't hugged Martin before. Martin, who are you? I don't think I've met you.
If you come to Denmark, then it's no problem. I'll hug you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Everyone seems to know you don't need. So, Martin, would you like to do an introduction?
Well, I'm just a plain IT guy, and doing community stuff. That's part of my DNA is community.
Okay. Right.
So actually, Morten and I were the guys that started up from scratch after COVID, and we thought, well, after the first meeting we had, this can get bigger, and it did.
Yes. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. I've not met you
Thank
before.
you. Likewise.
I hope to make your acquaintance in person. Now you got my gears in my head turning on how I can sneak over to Denmark. Sneak this optimal world.
You are always welcome.
Well, because he loves hugs. That's the only reason.
I travel 1,000 miles for a hug. There you go. We'll do that.
Perfect.
And
then we are a perfect match.
Yeah, and go to that excellent dinner spot that we went to on the waterside. I still think that meal was pretty good. All right, so you're doubling in size. it looks like you're going to have that exponential growth. What is that, Moore's law? Everything doubles in capacity every year, something like that. Is that what it is? Can't think of that. So, if we had to point our listeners to the link so that they can book for next year, because it seems like you're at capacity, I'm sure we'll get that in there. You were there last year, Rod. Actually, it's one of the keynotes. I was trying to get there. What was one of the outstanding things that you remember that when you go back, you go, oh my God, I want to do this again? Because the movie thing is
yeah, to be honest, it's just what I think has been talked about already. It was a lot of people knew each other, and for whatever reason, people know me anyway. So it was really nice just to see people in person that I've talked to, whether it's LinkedIn, email, through the MVP program, whatever it happens to be. I mean, that to me was invaluable. And this, last year was when my granddaughter was born. So this is like an anniversary for me. I'm celebrating my granddaughter's birth when I go back every year. So it's pretty awesome. But no, it was just everybody is so super accommodating. And to be honest, speaking in the sessions there, people were so interested in what I was talking about, even though, it was kind of really new. Nobody had talked about Security Copilot before. So yeah, obviously there's going to be some interest because it's a brand new thing, but just the attentiveness, people were there and they really wanted to hear. They were hungry for information, just really hungry to know what's coming up next, really hungry to know what they could utilize within their own organizations, whether they were, execs, which we had plenty there, or, just general IT pros. I think we had a few developers last year, maybe. Then we had some AMAs that I participated in last year as well. And those were great because people get to ask their questions directly. So, we sit in a session, we get to listen and hear what the speaker has to talk about, and then have the AMA session so they can ask those questions directly. I think that was like super, super cool. Super great way to do it.
Well, one of the things that we also learned and tried to do a little different this year is actually we have added more tracks to the conference. So if you think of Experts Live as having a wider or a more broader set of categories or that we have. So for instance, we have modern work, we have security, we have data, we have M365, we have the Power Platform. So we have Azure, we have all these we have 11 different tracks, and each of these tracks has 4 sessions, so that's 44, and then we have some AMA, we have 4 AMA, we have 2 keynotes, so that amounts to 50 sessions during a day. So that also means that now the company can bring, a lot of the different people from the IT department, and they can have a fun day together and learn from it. And we have also doubled the number of speakers this year. So we have speakers coming from, I think, 11 different countries for our conference. And a lot of the sessions has 2 speakers. We even have one session with 3 speakers. So we try to do a lot of great things and have some great speakers there. We have also invited some new speakers. We have speakers where this event will be their very first time speaking. We have student ambassadors speaking, which are also new. For example, Niklas will be there speaking, and Flavio and Michelle, and they will also be there. So we are really happy about the ones that are there, and so it's we try our very best, are very humble about the result, and we'll try our very best to make this an epic event, and we have a lot of great ideas about how we can do and make it a lot of fun. So and. I also want to say the sponsors has been fantastic.
Yeah.
We have I probably not double the number of sponsors, but more almost double the number of sponsors. So I also want to say thank you to all the sponsors that are showing interest. We actually had to turn down sponsors because we simply did not have room for them, and so we are very, very happy about everyone that are helping to make this a fun event.
That shows a lot of the adoption when everyone who wants to be part of something that's uber successful, right? And it gives back to the community more than you give back more than I could imagine I could give back. And I think you sort of pulled me to the side and give me a little bit of mentoring and everything when we were there and say, hey, less sales ed, more community. I'm like, got it. More community, less sales ed. I gotta do it. What did you say, Brody? You agreeing, Brody?
Oh, he's waving everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm very much wanting to make that one of my personal North Stars this year to say, hey, write more, speak more, give back more, and give people different venues to, hey, I never thought about it that way. You don't necessarily have to give everybody the answer or something. Just make them think a little bit different. And they go research some stuff, which is how I got pulled into this fabric thing. I'm like, well, can you do that on fabric? Now I'm on the hook for it. So we'll see how that goes. This is happening. So we talked about the event. What, Brody?
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Brody.
Have you been talking? I don't know. I can't hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Let's see. I guess he's been talking. I don't know. We just nod and we thought you were just motioning. I don't know.
The crazy part about it, we think this is normal behavior for him. So nobody thought it was anything odd. He's just making all these. Oh my God,
here's the sadder part is that for those that are just listeners, they know Morton's on here. They know Martin is here. Henrik has not even said a single thing. Henrik is here, listeners. He's actually here.
That's Brody 2.0. They don't know which one's the real Brody. They're like, wait a minute, hold on. They messing with my mind here.
It's a race to see whose mic works first.
Hello. Yeah, you're still muted. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but I have been busy on the chat, as you can see. So
yes,
I'm answering questions.
And look, Nicholas is a live audience member tonight as well. He's one of our student ambassadors and speaker.
So Brody, with his shenanigans, has totally thrown my thought track off what I was talking about. It's all right now. What was I going to ask? Golly, I'm totally off now, Martin. So, number of people, just in that. Oh, how many days is this over? That's what I meant to ask.
1
day. Okay, that's my day. I was like, wait a minute, how many days is this over? Okay, I wasn't sure about that. 1 day.
We thought about it when we decided to move to a bigger location. Should we basically scale up or scale out? And it's cheaper to scale up than scale out because then you have to have the venue for 2 days. You have to get food for 2 days and so on. So we thought about having it this place and then scale up. And again, maybe that will change in the future. We don't know, but for now, it has been important for us to have a fantastic venue and then add more people to the event. But it's also very important that people can go and listen or find that session that they really want to hear. So having 11 rooms and so many sessions at the same time, we expect to have a feedback like, well, there were so many things that I wanted to see during that time slot. I didn't know which one to pick, and actually I wanted to see more. So of course there will be that kind of feedback. That's I think important to say, but at least we can add something for everyone, so that we want everyone to have some fantastic sessions that they attended, and that is number one goal. And we don't have a measure saying we need to have 100 people in every room. That's not important. We'd rather have 20 people in one room and they are there and they got exactly what they wanted to hear.
Yeah,
so
I agree with you. That makes perfect sense. And you scale up, right, until you run out of available usable hours. Right? So you don't want to start too early. You don't want anybody staying in sessions to midnight, but you make sure you saturate the working hours before you decide you want to start shifting venues across, right? And once you can no longer make it effective within, let's just say the entirety of it is a 10-hour day, right? Most people are probably in a 10-hour day walking. I walked Ignite for 12 hours one day, right from beginning. So you scale up and then you figure out whether you want to scale across. But it sounds like what you are encouraging is that send multiple people. You can't make every track. And so when everybody from your company comes back, I will maybe put an education track where you tell people your job is to take what you learned in the session, then go back to your company and you present. Hey, I was in this session that you couldn't make. And they empower me to come back and represent the stuff that I learned there in that session. And that's the reason I decided not to go to all of them, because I would always say, well, I'm not going to go to that one. Brody's in that one. I'll learn everything from Brody when he comes back from it, right? And that way you can divide and conquer, because the fear of missing out on a particular session is overwhelming, right? And you don't want to, I got in this session, I wonder how the other one is going. But I would encourage companies, send your people out, tell them all to go divide and conquer, come back and do a lessons learned. Have a mini session within your company, a debrief of all the sessions everybody went to. And that way the value drives every year, right? We need to send more people to cover more sessions rather than less people to try to sit in all of these. And that's a good idea, though. I think most people believe going this way is the ultimate way. We need bigger space, more people. Yeah. You need to be hyper focused. Yeah. Good stuff.
So we also see we have seen a little change over the last couple of years, or as I would say a post-COVID reaction, because instead of, let's say a Danish company should send, let's say, 2 people to a conference somewhere in Europe or in the US, if we can, in each country, like in Germany, in Belgium, in Denmark, in the Netherlands, we can actually build a huge conference where we have some amazing speakers, amazing catalog of sessions. Why should they send them, to another country? And it will be more costly for them. So if we can arrange a cool event for $100 or something like that, that's affordable for most companies. And then they probably also end up sending 8 people instead of sending 2 people to somewhere in the world.
So it being on the show, and because it's being recorded, it's live, and we have proof of this, the Microsoft Security Insight Podcast hereby submits this application to you and Martin and Henrik and the other 3 that we'd like to be the people that help host your sessions in the US. We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do it. And we can scale, because we'll start off with 1 and 2 states. And then we got 50 states. We'll have another state soon with Canada coming into the fold. It will be. Hey, Brody, this is a friendly show. Listen, you. So I'm really serious to say that this is something that, Rod and I had put our heads around doing this as a show. And I'm like, why not just build upon this successful model? And if you guys need a U.S. counterpart, obviously you guys are owner of the mind share of it. We duplicate, make sure we keep the high level of quality, and we do the experts here in the U.S. And we'll start off with 2 cities at first. And then
should we also bring our sponsors?
Well, part of the see if we serious, if we can bring sponsors too, it needs to be cross pollinating. Right? We don't want to cannibalize your sponsors, make it seem like they have to extend to support something out. You probably have international sponsors, but I'm sure we can find sponsors that will give you like 50 water cups, something. Right? We can go with that. I am serious as my head is bald and shining in this light right now about trying to do that. We can talk about it offline. That would be great. Then the show can be multi-across, or we'll have a Microsoft Security Insight rep and walking around doing interviews while you're doing at the show over there. Rod, you can do that while you're there. If I come, I'll do it since I don't get a pass. I'll just walk around and film and do interviews, and we'll do it over here. I think that's just me brainstorming. I love to be part of that whole community, man, to do that. And the framework's there. the excellent is there. We just have to, duplicate it, imitate it, whatever. Brody's not in. Yeah, we'll get Canada a little bit later. The top idea, Nicholas Reed MSF. Yes, we do it live.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to find me a couple of.
Well, and I think Morten, I think probably the idea behind that is you mentioned earlier about Experts Live in the United States, and this is kind of a already kind of a thing across Europe. And I think it's important for people to understand, because you've mentioned already that you have organizations like sending their whole teams, right? Because they all have something that they can learn and things like that. So for our listeners and those that are live audience members, I think it's important for them to understand, because a lot of people are always looking for a good conference. There's a lot of good ones out there, right? Morten, you and I, we see each other at all these conferences periodically, and they're good conferences. But I think what you have created, or what the Experts Live conglomerate has kind of created, is something super special. And if people are looking for that conference to make it their conference, this is probably the best, right?
But I wanna again say that there are a lot of great people that are doing fantastic jobs setting up great conferences. For instance, Workplace Ninja are also setting up a US conference in December this year, and which will be a really cool event as well, a 2-day event. For example, the MMS team are also expanding, adding Nashville and various places, San Diego next year as well. So there are some really cool events out there. So and a lot of people doing some great work. So I really love what everyone are doing, and I also love how we help each other. If we have some ideas, some experiences with some things, then we exchange information, share what we have of knowledge to help each other. So that's how the community helps each other, and that's fantastic. I really love it.
It sounds like we're creating some type of cabal here. Oh yeah,
and the importance is the community aspect, yes, but also I think as important is that knowledge and learning and skill set transfer, right? It doesn't matter the conference. You find the conference you love, but it's about being invested in learning things and connecting with new people.
But I also want to say that a lot of people, there's a difference going to a Microsoft conference, a pure Microsoft conference with pure Microsoft people, compared to a community event. And I love the fact that, of course, both types of events exist, but one of the things that the feedback we hear from a lot of our attendees are that they like the fact that they hear, maybe you don't want to hear this, Microsoft people here, but they like to hear that there are two sides of the coin, right? So basically, this works, this does not work. And they get kind of I would say, some would probably use the word honest opinion about how it is, and that's what they like coming to a community event, whereas at a Microsoft event, maybe the approach is a little different. Let's put it that way.
Well, and I'll be super honest. I'll just say it. I'll be at the AI tour this week on Thursday talking about Security Copilot. I created the content for that, but it has been vetted by Microsoft, right? So I will tell you the Microsoft side of things on Thursday for Security Copilot. When I go to something like Experts Live or MMS, something that is not recorded or streams, I feel more comfortable being super honest about those things and answering questions as a person versus as a Microsoft person. So I think we're the big difference.
And we are held. This show is very Geneva-like. This is a neutral, not involved show. We have praised, and you've seen us bash. With courtesy and with fairness, right? Which is why this show has never been sponsored by Microsoft, never will, and I put it out there. That was a strong word, but I'm saying there's intellectual and presentation freedom that comes from saying, hey, my listeners direct the way we go about our correspondence here, right?
Mm.
And that's what you mentored me and counseled me on, Morgan. Morgan, when you said you're too salesy, Edward. You coming across like you're trying to sell me something. I'm like, oh yeah, I did. But I like the neutrality of your event to be able to sit here and say, you cannot have fairness if someone can't tell you this product is making my life miserable. I wish they would do it this way, right? At the same time, you're saying the praises of it, which is I love the anatomy of this podcast and how we can go and talk about other products if we want to, and talk about the good and bad. So your medium, your form is absolutely necessary, because if you allow the vendor to control the narrative, you'll never get the true picture, right? They'll tell you, don't look behind the wall. There's nothing to see over there. Well, I want to see what's behind the wall. Don't look over there. Right? So kudos to what you're
It
doing.
may embarrass you, but yeah, there's something.
Well, that's fine. I've been writing down ideas about this here. So when we do this in the United States next year, I'll be ready. We need to start planning, Rod. We got to get Brody. Brody, nobody can hear you.
I know. I'm trying to figure it out. I have no idea.
We can hear you now. We heard you.
Yeah,
we
you
heard you
came
that
more
time.
for a second.
Really?
We heard you. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had to shake my headset.
Did you restart?
Yeah, I alt F4'd and I restarted the computer 5 times.
Shaking, so
We have to put on Brody 2.0. Then he can take over.
yeah. Henry cut your mic off. He's been doing it. He's been telling us in those chat. Watch this.
I was
Cut Brody's mic off again. Watch this.
Turn your mic up a little bit.
so nobody can hear me still.
Well,
I know what you did. You called service desk.
gotta do it. Gotta do it. Reboot.
Hello.
Oh, that's good.
Hello.
Yeah, that's right. We can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Gentlemen, having been to your wonderful country, I understand the time zone constraints over there. We'll let you guys close out the show to be very respectful. Here it leads to sleep, right? Anything you guys want to close with that we can get out to our listeners? Anything?
Come next year.
Yeah.
Come next year.
Please come to Denmark. If not for the conference, come and visit us. We would love to have you guys. And I would say again, but for Brody, please come and bring your family along. So that could be a lot of fun.
And we give free hugs.
I'm tempted right now to book me a ticket. Nothing's better than a free hug other than cold beer.
You're welcome.
Knew another person on waiting list that just popped into my inbox right now.
Yes, and guess who that was?
Brody.
Noodle. It was Noodle.
Wait list. Get him in. Get him in. That's okay.
Well,
Here you go.
we'll
I
we'll
will be there
figure it
next
out.
year. 100% with my family. 100%.
No excuse to anybody. This event's been talked about since last year, right? So you know the demand. You got to get in. Don't call in favors trying to make Henrik and Morgan and Martin feel bad. It's not going to work. You guys had ample time to get on, everyone. Morgan, can I get a ticket to get in?
You could actually just submit a session.
I can just pick it back off Rod and do his session. I'm pretty
exactly.
good back into the audience. Rod and I present pretty well together. We presented at night year before last. We do pretty well.
Edward, we have a panel where you have to talk about SFI. So we can just put another chair on the up there, and then you have a session.
You are
How many-
tempting me more.
How many people do we have on that panel, by the way? Is it just the
Three.
three? Three. Yeah, we need more.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, I'll end up talking the whole time.
that's the easiest session to add more speakers to it, because it's basically just a panel where Rod is the moderator.
Oh my God.
See?
I'm trying to be much better this year and not being a habitual overcommitter, right? Your word is your bond, right? And I say I'm coming, and if I don't show up, more to be mad at me, he won't help me anymore. So I have to make sure I'm within it. Bro, let's talk offline tomorrow about it. Actually,
Well, I'll be gone tomorrow.
when you're back,
I'll be available on Wednesday to talk.
Let's talk Wednesday about it.
All right.
And there are still tickets. People get on the waiting list, so there's still room.
Yep. And don't do it because you think you're going to win swag, because that's what Hendrik does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
We-
Microsoft Security Insight show gives away the best swag. I think I
But-
sent. Didn't I send you, Rod? Did you get your little FIDO key?
I did.
But I want to say one thing without saying you should probably check out our website later on this week.
Okay.
Then maybe you have a chance to come to the event or meet more people who have the chance to come to the event. That is what we expect to announce later on this week.
Let's
I'll
put-
have
let's put
the
website-
Secret announcement.
Let's put the website in our show notes and put it in the chat so people can go and they'll bookmark it and say, Copilot, remind me to check the website for next week. at the exact
We're
same time."
checking out. So what we're checking out right now if the venue and can we can add more people, and we're also having meetings tomorrow with the chef that are cooking all the meals, and we have dialogues, various dialogues going on, and hopefully we can announce that we're adding some more people with it. And the only problem that we have we are trying to deal with is the keynote room, which fits 553 people. So we hope to do kind of an overflow scenario where we can use more rooms and then stream in a next door room to the overflow rooms and then solve that keynote problem. That's what we are aiming for.
Nice.
Well,
I can't wait to
this
show up
has
and not say anything.
This has been super informative. Thank you for taking time out to come on. This is an excellent event. My mind is trying to figure out how to get over there very badly, and things sort of may work out. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
You're always welcome on this show. Maybe we'll get you back and talk about some of the cool things that you've built out in your daytime job, right? Of creating innovation out there, getting Henry back on. Thanks everyone for coming on the show. We really, really, really appreciate it. Slow start to the 2025 year, but we're rocking and rolling. Maybe we will actually get out some type of submission where if you're interested in coming on this show, we give a link where you can fill out your semi-abstract and a topic suggestion and maybe come on and get down in the weeds. We may call it in the weeds session where you really get down and show us the down and dirty of some of the solutions that you're having to build or either support. With that being said, everyone stay warm. Is it cold in Denmark right now? Because it's cold where I am. Yeah, cold being relative, right? I'm in the south.
No.
Yeah, we had enough snow. Thanks everyone. Next week on the Monday.
Have a great week. And we'll send Brody another headset.
Good.
Yes.